All right, so Mike Pompeo was severely critical of China as Secretary of State, issuing this warning in 2020.
If we bend the knee now, our children's children may be at the mercy of the Chinese Communist Party, whose actions are the primary challenge today in the free world.
Mike Pompeo, now a Fox News contributor, joins me now. Good to see you, as always, Secretary. So what did you think in that moment when you see the Secretary of State now, Antony Blinken, wincing when he hears Biden say, yes, he's a dictator?
Oh, goodness, Martha, thanks for having me on. I don't want to make too much of that. I think all of us who serve presidents are trying to figure out what our boss is going to say exactly. So I have some sympathy for the moment. So you're saying that you winced once in a while at your boss? Martha, there might have been one or two moments. It's possible. But the reality is that President Biden got this one right. I think Secretary Blinken knows that, too. Xi Jinping's words saying he wants to be friendly to the United States are just that, their words. There is not a single action that this man has taken that has led to anyone to believe that they actually want to be friends with the United States of America, not just the spy balloon, but continuing to steal intellectual property. I don't think for a second we're going to see a slowdown in the precursors of fentanyl out of China. I think that's just hokum. That's a lie he told for getting through a meeting. You can see it in the promise that he broke to the people of Hong Kong, the list of lies from Xi Jinping, the lie he told President Obama in the Rose Garden in 2015 about militarizing the Spratly Islands. The list is pretty long. I suspect that his statements last night to those business leaders will prove to be false as well.
But, you also spoke out in that 2020 speech about how 50 years of trying to have engagement with China, going back to Nixon, opening the door to China. And the theory was that if you put a lot of light on this subject and we have trade and interaction, that it would form a different kind of relationship. But you say that we need to put that idea back in the bottle, that it turned out to be a mistake, right?
Well, Martha, I think it's demonstrably failed. And so I don't think that's truly disputable. It didn't work. It didn't slow down this regime that holds 1 million people prisoner in the western part of its country, Muslims prisoner there. Think about that against the context of what's happening in the Middle East today, and seems to go unnoticed. We saw what happened during the COVID virus, where 1 million Americans have now perished because the Chinese Communist Party refused to care about humanity in its most fundamental way. And so, we'll still have some relationship with China. There'll always be interactions, but we should not for a moment think that Xi Jinping's hegemonic intent, his desire to construct a world that operates on a set of Leninist Marxist principles, isn't at the center of his objective. He's working hard to do it. The people of Taiwan are at risk. And so we have a responsibility to build up a model of deterrence, and that cannot be to continue to send our technology to China, to continue to allow them to steal our technology, to continue to allow them to operate in our universities all across this country and steal our stuff. We have to rethink that. And that speech that I gave in spring of 2020 was the Trump administration's statement about how we ought to think about our interactions, the way we engage. When we put pressure on Xi Jinping, he will have to conform to the American model and not allow us to begin to conform to their communist model.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to get inside his head and see how he walks away from all of this. And whether or not he feels like he has to do that. Thank you very much, former Secretary of State, former CIA director. It's always good to have you with us. Good to see you. Mike Pompeo, thank you very much, sir.
Yes, ma'am.